I rebelled.
Elle ira jusqu'à défier Louis B. Mayer lorsque sa mère exigera de meilleurs rôles pour elle auprès du grand Manitou de la MGM.
And he said, "Are you trying to teach me how to run my effing studio?" And foam started forming around the edges of his mouth. And he used words, I promise you, up until then, I had never heard. It's since become one of my favorite parts of my vocabulary. I said, Mr. Mayor, unless you apologize to my mother right now, I am leaving your office and I am never going to come back in. Because I would love to go to school, to proms, to basketball games, football games. I don't give a damn whether I ever act another day in my life. And I learned a rather cynical lesson, because I didn't get fired the next day. And I realized that I must have some kind of intrinsic monetary value to them. Otherwise, I would have been out on my fanny.
Cette reine de beauté s'affirme aussi d'une autre façon. À 14 ans, sa jolie silhouette est tout aussi exquise que ses traits délicats. Elle aime le maquillage, les bijoux et les robes cintrées qui accentuent sa séduction.
At first, I found it very hard to accept compliments, and I didn't believe them. And my mother taught me from the very beginning, it isn't what you look like on the outside, it's what comes out of you that determines whether you're pretty or not.
En 1947, son charme fait des merveilles dans Mon père et nous, une comédie où elle donne la réplique à William Powell, Irene June et Jimmy Lydon.
Do you ever play duets?
Well, I haven't up to now.
Neither have I. Up to now.
She was just about to be a full-blown woman at that age, and she was so beautiful. You just didn't believe anybody could be that beautiful. Everything was there.
I was hoping we could have a few minutes together before you left.
You can't see it when you're playing the scene with her, but it's there on the screen, that marvelous technique of hands, eyes, voice, movement. There's an aura there.
I'll show you how much I like you.
Get up, get up! Oh, Mary, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Niall, you're just a bold and forward girl.
Oh, no, it's not that.
Was it because it's Sunday?
No, it'd be the same any day. Oh, Mary.
Sa nouvelle image sexy est un atout de plus, exploité par la MGM dans des comédies sentimentales pour adolescents. Dans Les 4 filles du Dr March, elle incarne à nouveau la coqueluche des garçons, face à June Allison, Margaret O'Brien et Janet Leigh.
The character was similar to Elizabeth in that she was headstrong and free-spirited and had this kind of air about her.
You're going to have a lovely nose someday, Amy. Yes, I know.
The only thing that made me a little sad during Little Women was Elizabeth was growing up and she didn't bring the chipmunks to the lot anymore.
Elizabeth's personality at this point was really confined to the parts that she played and obedience to her mother. And naturally, she began to find ways of escaping from her mother and father.
À 17 ans, elle trouve la clé de son émancipation, le mariage. Elle se met à fréquenter et son instinct maternel la pousse à fonder une famille.
She was raised in an extremely moral family. You did not have a relationship without marriage.
Ses velléités d'indépendance se font plus pressantes lorsqu'elle est prêtée à la Paramount pour un grand film romantique, Une place au soleil, de George Stevens.
This is the unforgettable story of a boy from nowhere, fighting desperately for his place in the sun.
The part of Angela Vickers in that film was really the American dream. Elizabeth was the perfect embodiment of that.
Montgomery Clift, dazzled by the radiant beauty of Elizabeth Taylor, a girl so far above him she seemed like a goddess, but only too human when he held her in his arms.
We'll think of something somehow, whatever way we can. We'll have such wonderful times together, just the two of us.
Son partenaire, Montgomery Clift, est alors l'un des acteurs les plus en vogue. Mais c'est un être torturé qui, comme Elizabeth, supporte mal l'hypocrisie d'Hollywood. Leur complicité est immédiate.
Elizabeth's heart always went out to people who were vulnerable in some way. Montgomery Clift was a rather insecure young man. He was gay. And Elizabeth's relations with him were very much those that she showed in the part she played in the film. She was maternal, she was loving, she took charge of Montgomery Clift.
I was agog. This genius young actor. And for the first time, I took acting seriously and realized it wasn't a game. It was a craft.
There's a startling moment in the film where you see them fall in love, and she says to him, "Come to Mama." You know, and the idea of a 17-year-old girl saying that and it being so true was really, I think, one of the remarkable moments in film.
Une place au soleil fait passer Elizabeth Taylor du statut de star adolescente à celui de femme désirable. Mais son amour malheureux pour Montgomery Clift ne fait que renforcer son envie de rencontrer l'homme qui lui fera découvrir le monde adulte et la sexualité. À l'aube de ses 18 ans, Elizabeth Taylor est prête à voler de ses propres ailes, loin du regard inquisiteur de ses parents et des gros bonnets de la MGM.
Elizabeth was a born romantic. She was the kind of girl who would look out of the castle window and wonder when her prince would come riding over the hills.
And along came Nicky Hilton, who was raised somewhat the same way. I mean, he grew up in that Hilton family with a powerful father, and they were, I suspect, like two lost souls.
À 23 ans, Nicholas Conrad Hilton, héritier de l'empire hôtelier de son père, mène la grande vie. Pour Elizabeth, c'est le prince charmant, et elle préfère ignorer les rumeurs qui le disent caractériel et coureur de jupons. Ses rêves se font encore plus précis lorsqu'elle tourne pour la MGM Le père de la mariée, où on la voit convoler en juste noces dans le rôle de la fille d'un Spencer Tracy dépassé par les événements. Le mariage du film ne fait qu'exacerber son désir, et en 1950, Elizabeth dit oui à la demande en mariage de Nicky Hilton, avec qui elle sort depuis 4 mois.
I think the marriage was like diving into the pool of freedom. It kind of opened the door.
Wedding bells for the most beautiful teenager in the world. Excited fans see 18-year-old Elizabeth Taylor arrive at the Beverly Hills Church of the Good Shepherd to marry Conrad Hilton Jr., heir to a fabulous hotel empire.
It was perhaps the most sumptuous wedding that has ever been staged in Hollywood. Every star under the sun was invited.
Everybody was there. Clark Gable, Lana Turner, Spencer Tracy. I was thrilled to have been invited. And she just looked so beautiful. I never saw such a beautiful bride. It was, she was just breathtaking.
In New York, another bride and groom on a pretty extended honeymoon. Conrad Hilton Jr. and Elizabeth Taylor sail on the Queen Mary for 3 months in Europe.
Mais le conte de fées se transforme rapidement en cauchemar pour Elizabeth. Dès le début, Hilton s'ennuie au lit avec une épouse sans aucune expérience. Au bout de quelques jours, il la délaisse pour les casinos.
Nick Hilton was brutal. He drank a lot, he had a bad temper. In fact, Elizabeth later said that he used physical force on her.
Âgée d'à peine 18 ans, elle n'ose se confier à quiconque. Sa tristesse ne fait que s'accentuer lorsque la MGM la pousse à jouer une jeune mariée enceinte dans Allons donc papa, la suite du père de la mariée.
It's this young doctor of hers. I've always said she should have gone to our family doctor.
We wanted her to go to our doctor, too.
There's nothing the matter with my doctor. He's fine, he's wonderful. He told me not to pay any attention to... Nobody seems to realize this is my baby. Mine and Buckley's. You seem to think, well, the way you talk... Well, I'll have you know this. I'm going to have my baby the way I want to. Mother!
La fin du tournage marquera l'échec de son couple. Très abattue, elle demande le divorce 6 mois seulement après son mariage.
She was in despair. She had tremendous self-doubts. You can imagine how she felt that here she had made this plunge into adulthood and it had turned into nothing but pain. And she was lost, felt lost.
Cet été-là, la MGM envoie son étoile montante en Angleterre tourner une superproduction, Ivanhoe. Mais Elizabeth s'intéressera moins au film qu'à un de ses partenaires, qui commence à faire parler de lui là-bas, Michael Wilding, 38 ans. Elizabeth est conquise par son élégance et son esprit, qui tranchent avec la brutalité de Nicky Hilton.
He was incredibly nice. I mean, he was kind. When people say to me, what is charm? I say, go and watch Michael Wilding in the film. That's charm.
Cet acteur tout en élégance a beau avoir le double de son âge, Elizabeth le poursuit de ses ardeurs, ce qui amuse l'Anglais.
It was an amazing capacity she had. She was so lovely, so interesting, so compassionate, as though each man that she talked to was the only person on the planet.
Prête à se remarier, Elizabeth encourage Wilding à faire sa demande. En février 1952, le couple est uni à Londres lors d'une cérémonie qui, une fois encore, fait sensation. Elizabeth retrouve confiance en elle et Wilding est ravi de voir son épouse superstar prendre en charge leur avenir. Elle gagne à présent près de $5 000 par semaine. Après avoir convaincu la MGM de prendre son mari sous contrat, elle réalise le désir de toute une vie en mettant au monde Michael Wilding Jr. en janvier 1953, à 20 ans.
Elizabeth always loved children. I mean, she was very good with children. And so I don't believe it changed her, but it broadened her.
She's a very down-to-earth, really, if ever the term Mother Earth should apply to anyone, it would be to her. Strange, because she is so glamorous. And on the other side of the polarity, a kind of caretaking housewife. She wouldn't get all dressed up. She likes to just slob around.
Elizabeth se sent enfin adulte, mais cette nouvelle stabilité va bientôt être ébranlée par un homme comme elle n'en a encore jamais rencontré. En 1955, Elizabeth Taylor profite à la fois d'une carrière au beau fixe et de la naissance de son deuxième fils, Christopher. Cette même année, elle refait équipe avec le réalisateur d'Une place au soleil, George Stevens, pour Géant, d'après la saga texane d'Edna Ferber.
This is Texas, mighty colossus of the Southwest, the land where today's ranch hand can become tomorrow's multimillionaire.
Au départ, Stevens n'est pas sûr qu'Elizabeth ait le talent nécessaire pour jouer une femme de propriétaire de ranch, qui plus est sur une période de 25 ans.
Elizabeth's beauty kind of put a burden on her. It was hard for many people to accept really how good an actress she was.
I'm a completely instinctive actress. I've never had any lessons. I try and become the character.
Come on, partner. Why don't you kick off your spurs?
C'est son partenaire, Rock Hudson, qui l'a recommandé pour le rôle. Elle ne l'oubliera jamais. Sur le tournage au Texas, les deux acteurs deviennent très amis.
Rock Hudson as Bick Benedict, big enough to stand up and take what he wanted. Elizabeth Taylor as Leslie Linton,